you want people to lose all faith that anyone is going to solve anything.
Yeah.
You add a bunch of, if you're going to kill a guy, you add a bunch of other whack shit that doesn't make any sense, and you spam it out there at the same time. You leave a gun that didn't do it out in the woods. You do a bunch of like that.
On Monday before, this correspondence went to Chief Long. Hello, Chief Long. We received this message today from the student group. There is a student roof access pretty close to where CK will be set up at the Utah Valley. The Sorensen Center has a couple of staircases that go up to walkways on the roofs. He comes back, and his last correspondence was, "I got you covered." What else am I to do? When a command level person from an accredited police department says, "I've got this area."
Please pick me. Okay, when you're like in school and you got to hold your hand up because you really want a teacher to see you, I have an answer for what you could have done. You could have followed up because it's your job and Charlie paid you millions of dollars not to pass the buck. No.
Programs, which is a big problem.
That's false.
Working on that because it's something they should all have. It should be mandated by some sort of law. And so anyways, it's in quick defense of the security, they're only allowed to protect his immediate vicinity.
And that, of course, is false. So it was made very clear that there were drones that could have been used, and there could have been people on the roof. They said there were supposed to be people on the roof, but where they failed is they did not verify with the police department that was actually taken care of.
Thousands of dollars on drones last year, and got the guy's license. But if the area lies in the Provo, Utah airspace, I can't fly it. That's a 107B. We can't break the rules. Right? And then you had secondary restrictions, probably due to heavy foot traffic for the school, but I can't go in and break the rules. There's laws for a reason. And so now the school could have flown drones, the PD, but they didn't have them, right?
Joe Rogan doesn't say things lightly, so when he openly starts questioning a high-profile political story on his podcast, people pay attention. And this time, what caught his attention wasn't just the tragic death of Charlie Kirk, it was the story being told afterward. Because the deeper Rogan looked, the less the official narrative made sense. And the person at the center of that unraveling story wasn't a stranger. It was Charlie Kirk's own chief of security. And once his version of events started collapsing, everything else followed.
On Monday before, this correspondence went to Chief Long. Hello, Chief Long. We received this message today from the student group. There is a student roof access pretty close to where CK will be set up at the Utah Valley. The Sorensen Center has a couple of staircases that go up to walkways on the roofs. He comes back, and for edification, the Sorensen Center was the building in front of the Lucy Center. And so he comes back and he says, "You want access to the roof?" And came back and said, "I was told students have access above us. If this is true, it would be nice to either have it controlled access or allow one of my guys to be there as well if possible." He comes back, and his last correspondence was, "I got you covered." What else am I to do? When a command level person from an accredited police department says, "I've got this area."
Jeez.
Please pick me. Okay, when you're like in school and you got to hold your hand up because you really want a teacher to see you, I have an answer for what you could have done. You could have followed up because it's your job and Charlie paid you millions of dollars not to pass the buck. No. Also, you asked the police chief an either or question. And I'm just kind of like trying to understand the basic construct of sentences. He said, "Got you covered." What does that mean? It was an either or question. Either provide us access or get somebody up there. Got you covered means what? No follow-up? That's it? Millions and millions of dollars on his security annually. And you just said, "Hey, a student told us that there's a rooftop and it would be good if we could have access to it or if one of your guys could secure, got you covered, that's it. That's what Charlie was paying for. On the basis of that answer, you should all be fired. Just on the basis of that answer, you didn't have it within you to go, let me follow up and make sure that's been secured because that's my job. Let me walk the path and see. The fact that a student told you and you didn't know that, shouldn't you have told the student? You shouldn't you have said to the student, hey, we're looking at a map because it's amazing. It's 2025 and there's this thing called Google Maps. So we're actually looking at a map and we see where Charlie's gonna sit and we're wondering about this roof. Could you let us know how we're supposed to access that? Why is the student and the chief leading the charge and not you when you are paid for executive level security? It is an unacceptable answer. Look, I've worked with Brian, nice guy. That's a ridiculous answer. He should be fired.
Let's rewind to the beginning. September 10th, Utah Valley University, an outdoor debate event, is part of Charlie Kirk's American Comeback Tour. The event was expected to host around 600 people. Nothing extreme, nothing unusual, but within moments of Charlie stepping on stage, everything went wrong. Gunfire erupted, panic broke out, and almost immediately, a middle-aged man in the crowd began shouting that he did it. He confessed on the spot. The FBI arrested him, case closed. Right? Not even close. Because investigators quickly realized the man was lying. He wasn't the shooter. The alleged shooter wasn't in the crowd at all. He was on a rooftop. And that's where the first crack in the story appears.
You want people to lose all faith that anyone is going to solve anything.
Yeah.
You add a bunch of, if you're going to kill a guy, you add a bunch of other wacky shit that doesn't make any sense and you spam it out there at the same time. You leave a gun that didn't do it out in the woods. You do a bunch of shit like that. First of all, there was that one guy who was the decoy. All right, so you got this guy who's an older guy who starts yelling out. Didn't he take his pants down? He took his pants down. This guy was at 9/11. He was at the Boston bombings.
All the hits.
He called in a fake bomb at another place. And then he did this at this thing. Right after, so somehow or another, this guy has the state of mind that the moment someone gets shot, he yells out and says, I did it, and takes his pants down or something like that. I don't know exactly what he did. Then, ready for this? He gets arrested for child right away.
Right after this happened?
Oh, right away. He's in jail for child. Why is that? Well, now you can't interview him.
Right, he's got, right.
Right, and because when the internet people start going, how are you at all these different things? Like, what are the odds? Like, if someone ran it through one of the ChatGPT perplexity things, like, what are the odds that this guy would be at all those different events and be involved? Like, zero.
This is the guy?
Yeah.
I just like that the pants down part is just insane to me. It's like, why is your out, dude?
I did it. Listen, I'm not saying this guy is an insane. He's clearly insane. Or not. Or he's professionally insane.
Right.
According to authorities, the real shooter had positioned himself on a rooftop directly in front of the stage, a clear line of sight, a perfect vantage point. And here's the part that matters. Charlie Kirk's security team already knew that rooftop existed. Days before the event, Brian Harpole, Charlie's chief of security, was warned by a student group that there was roof access near the venue. They specifically mentioned staircases leading up to elevated walkways. Brian acknowledged the concern. He emailed the local police chief and asked a simple question: either restrict access to the roof or allow his team to secure it themselves. The response he got: I got you covered. And that was it. No clarification, no follow-up, no confirmation of what covered actually meant. Millions of dollars in annual security spending and a vague sentence was enough to walk away. That rooftop remained unguarded, and that decision would define everything that followed.
Thousands of dollars on drones last year, and got the guy's license. But if the area lies in the Provo, Utah airspace, I can't fly it. That's a 107B. We can't break the rules, right? And then you had secondary restrictions, probably due to heavy foot traffic for the school. But I can't go in and break the rules. There's laws for a reason. And so now the school could have flown drones, the PD, but they didn't have them, right? But Orem PD has a drone unit active and professional, and that police department, I will tell you right now, is awesome. They get it. They were there. They helped both on the soft side and the hard side. And so I started asking questions like, you guys have a drone unit? Yeah, good. Do you have an MOU or a mutual aid agreement with the school? And they're like, yeah. I said, did they call you and ask for assistance? No. I'm like, why wouldn't you call? And then so, that's one. So just, I can't go in and break the law. I can't make my guys break the law. I can't go in and do something that would jeopardize.
After the shooter was identified as Tyler Robinson, Brian Harpole gave an interview explaining what went wrong. And this is where things start getting uncomfortable. Brian claimed that he wanted to use drones to secure the area, but couldn't. He said it was illegal to fly drones over the campus. That explanation didn't survive contact with reality. Security experts immediately pointed out that private security companies regularly fly drones. FAA approvals under 107 can be obtained quickly. In fact, multiple professionals confirmed they were able to acquire Lance approvals for that exact area in seconds. Brian wasn't a rookie. He had been running a security company for years. This wasn't confusion. It was a claim that simply didn't line up with how security operations actually work. And that raised a disturbing question. If drones were possible and roof access was known, why wasn't the area secured?
Programs, which is a big problem.
That's false.
Working on that because it's something they should all have. It should be mandated by some sort of law. And so anyways, it's in quick defense of the security, they're only allowed to protect his immediate vicinity.
And that, of course, is false. So it was made very clear that there were drones that could have been used, and there could have been people on the roof. They said there were supposed to be people on the roof, but where they failed is they did not verify with the police department that that was actually taken care of. And then the next thing I want to talk about, this is extremely important, is that initially there were supposed to be about 600 people coming to this event. Now, there's several layers of issues here. First of all, they didn't check tickets. It was a wide open event, meaning anyone could come and they could just walk right in. So there's no security there. There's no accountability for anyone who's coming in if they actually bought tickets or signed up for this event. And then for a security, they said that it went from 600 people to over 3,000 that showed up. Now, at these events, a lot of times it's Kirk's enemies, right? It's the left. It's the people that are anti Charlie Kirk. They call him a fascist. He gets death threats. So they left it wide open, and his security team allowed this to happen. They put him in a situation where they could have said, we're not going to cover you. We're not going to do this event. It's not safe. We can't verify if the roof is going to be covered or not. And even when it was at 600 people that were supposed to be there and 3,000 showed up, they could see the crowd growing. In fact, they mentioned it in some of the interviews and things that I've seen, that they could tell that there was getting to be a lot of people. At that point, they could make the decision to pull Charlie for his safety.
And the rooftop wasn't the only failure. The event itself spiraled out of control. Tickets weren't checked. There was no enforced perimeter. An event planned for 600 people exploded into a crowd of over 3,000. Anyone could walk in, and this wasn't a neutral crowd. Charlie Kirk was one of the most polarizing figures in the country. He received constant threats. His critics openly labeled him a fascist. His events were known flashpoints, yet security didn't shut it down. They didn't pause. They didn't pull him off the stage, even as the crowd kept growing. That wasn't an accident. That was a decision.
He's equally sane, and he's saying, hey, look, that appears to me to be an exit wound. And when I go and look at this, and by the way, Kash Patel said on Sunday that the FBI is looking at leads, including the location of the shot and the angle of the bullet, potentially a second shooter. And that's what Kash Patel said on the Sunday news show. So this does not appear, Pat, that it's one crazy person.
Does this say that Kash Patel said there's a second shooter?
Yes, sir.
Rob, can you zoom in a little bit, please? I'm 46. Thank you. Director of FBI committed to ensuring the investigation into Charlie Kirk's assassination person. The full weight of Americans law enforcement is active following the extended. We are meticulously investigating theories and questioning includes the location where the shot was taken, the possibility of accomplices, text messages, confessions, related conversations, Discord chats, and the angle of the shot and bullet impact, how the weapon was transported, hand gesture observed as potential signals near Charlie. So they're doing all of that. Okay, that's
and
great.
They're saying
some
where
details,
the shot was taken.
Got it. Some details are known today while others are still being pursued to ensure every possibility is considered our primary focus of complete investigation. Information will ensure regarding specific details such as questions about the plane regarding the turning off transponder on the assassination side, we can share updates.
What makes this even harder to ignore is what Charlie himself was saying behind the scenes. Multiple people later confirmed that just one day before the event, Charlie texted members of his inner circle something chilling. "I think they're going to kill me." He didn't say he felt unsafe. He didn't say he was nervous. He said he believed someone was coming for him. And yet, no additional security measures were implemented. No escalation. No emergency protocols, no relocation. A man who believed his life was in danger still walked onto an unsecured stage. And then came the shooter story.
3 people told me off record. 2 people who have this in a written communication from Charlie. One who is a Turning Point USA donor, and I would say very much one of the white knights in this. The very day before Charlie Kirk died, he expressed that he thought he was going to be killed. He told these people, "I think they're going to kill me." Okay? He did not express that to me. So I am telling you this based off the testimony of 3 people. And I am saying this because I hope that these people who I think are good will be inspired to come forward with that. Now, again, those conversations I had were off record. I honor that. If I say it's off record, it stays off record. But I'm hoping that watching what I am doing and feeling the energy that is rising across the world for people who want to know what the heck happened on 9/10, that, they will be brave and they will say, yeah, Charlie did the day before he died think that he was going to be, and maybe tell us, who is they? Well, for once and for all, who is they? Who is the they that he thought were going to kill?
According to the official version, Tyler Robinson, a 22-year-old with no known advanced training, managed to pull off what many experts say is nearly impossible. He allegedly used a rifle described as a World War I era weapon, conveniently without a serial number. He made a precise, lethal shot from a rooftop, under pressure, without being noticed. Then we're told he disassembled the rifle, somehow fitted into a backpack, escaped without leaving evidence, and later calmly walked into a police station to confess. Even Joe Rogan couldn't hide his disbelief, because none of it adds up. The rifle shown in early images appeared modern, composite stock, advanced scope, not what you'd expect from a century-old weapon. And the idea that someone could disassemble and reassemble a rifle on a rooftop under stress without specialized training, that's not amateur behavior, that's precision.
This kid had a rifle with a scope. Now here's where it gets weird. The first images of this rifle with a scope, I swear to God, it looks like he has a composite stock on it. Like it looks like a modern 30-06 rifle. So a 30-06, so that's the rifle. 30-06 is like, that looks like a very modern looking stock. I mean, it might not be. It might be just a bad resolution. It might be wood. It's hard to tell. But if you showed me that and you said, "Hey, this is my cousin's rifle, is this any good?" I'd be like, looks like a standard bolt action rifle with like a sophisticated modern scope on it. Sure. Now, apparently, the narrative is that this is his grandfather's rifle from World War I and doesn't have a serial code. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. Why? Wait. Why are you using such an old gun? Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, is it possible that an old gun can be that accurate? If you have a gunsmith and they work on it, yeah, it's totally possible.
Then there was the decoy. An older man in the crowd began yelling that he was responsible. Witnesses say he acted erratically, even removing his pants while shouting. Here's the strange part. That same individual had reportedly been present at other major incidents in the past, including the Boston bombings. Moments after the event, he was arrested on unrelated charges, and just like that, he was no longer available to question. Then came another surprise. Footage of Tyler Robinson allegedly walking into the police station to confess. Gone. Deleted. A high-profile confession in one of the most controversial cases in recent memory, and the footage no longer exists. At that point, even skeptics started asking the same question. Why does evidence keep disappearing?
That's the other thing. They said that he took it apart and then put it back together again. Shut the Do you know how much time it would take to do that if you were highly skilled?
To disassemble a gun.
To disassemble a rifle so that you can get it in a backpack. And by the way, not going to fit.
Not going to fit in a backpack.
And then somehow or another reconnects it once he gets off the roof? What? What's that about?
Is that what they pitched, huh?
Yeah. And then he's supposed to get it in that stupid back. It's literally, it makes no sense.
Attention then shifted to Charlie's inner circle. Erica Kirk, Charlie's widow, was quickly named CEO of Turning Point USA. She gave interviews, spoke about politics, but remained largely silent about pushing for deeper investigation. Online, people noticed, because if your spouse is murdered under suspicious circumstances, silence isn't what people expect. Then came the threats. Candace Owens revealed she was warned to lay low, that there was a credible threat against her life. Tucker Carlson was allegedly told the same. But here's the issue. Neither Candace nor Tucker were ever officially contacted by federal authorities. No calls, no briefings, no warnings. So who issued the threat? And why was the information coming through private channels instead of law enforcement? The person who warned Candace? Andrew Kovic, Charlie Kirk's executive producer. The same man later involved in disputes about Charlie's final political positions.
Doctor, and again, this is not a non-disclosure violation, but the doctor told us, came out there and told us. And then they also told Chief of Staff. So the bullet came in and hit the vertebra. And so it came in and then tore up everything in the wound cavity, hit the vertebra, crushed it, shattered it, turned, crushed the second one. Turn kept going down all the way, I think they said C6.
Holy
Near the end of his life, Charlie reportedly began distancing himself from certain movements he once strongly supported. Text messages later surfaced, showing internal disagreement. People close to him urged him not to bring certain voices back into his circle, voices like Candace Owens. Those claims were initially denied, then receipts appeared, and suddenly people began revisiting everything Andrew Kovic had said, including his role in warning others about threats that federal agencies never confirmed. The questions kept stacking.
This is just a narrative, right?
Yeah.
We watch a guy jump off the roof, and then we supposedly find this rifle. So if you can have a guy that's in the audience that's yelling, "I shot him, now shoot me. I shot him, now shoot me," and then that guy gets arrested for child porn charges, like he's like, what is going on here?
So
and then
weird.
you find this rifle, and then you say, "Oh, he assembled it and he reassembled it." Like, okay. If I wish I was a cop, I'd sit in a room like this story. Like none of these things make any sense to me. Like you're telling me that this kid who's not military trained, this guy, first of all, how did he get to the roof? How come nobody was looking? How come nobody was like, there's a direct line of sight between where he's sitting and those roofs? You guys didn't check? You don't have a drone? Like that's insane. So he's on the roof, he shoots, he jumps from the roof. He jumps down 14 feet.
Yeah, we saw didn't they have video of him jump? Somebody had a cell phone video of him jumping.
There's
down,
a video
right?
of him jumping. So this guy, whoever it is, jumps off of the roof and lands, whether or not he's even the guy who shot him. Maybe he thought he was going to shoot him. Maybe he's a patsy. Maybe he did it.
I feel like he's a plant.
Then came the moment that blew the case open again. The FBI quietly acknowledged they were investigating additional possibilities, including shot angles, timelines, and the potential presence of a second shooter. Witnesses reported hearing shots from different directions. Surveillance timestamps didn't align cleanly. Even the FBI director publicly stated that accomplices were being considered. That admission alone shattered the idea that the case was settled. Because if there's even a possibility of a second shooter, then the rooftop narrative collapses. And so does the claim that this was a lone actor.
Yeah, it's like, why not put that info out? Why not put it out? And then
Why wouldn't they put that out?
And if do me a favor, don't make me do it. It's not my job. And so then it got to here, and you're exactly right. And then hit, I think, 6, and then fragged. So explanation 101. What are you hiding? Yeah, it's like I'm sitting back here when people are saying we bombed him, or there's that wound. I'm like, hey, if somebody would, from an official capacity, would just release that, I don't see how that could jeopardize a fair trial for a guy.
At this point, one thing is undeniable. The timelines don't match, the testimonies keep changing, key footage vanished, critical security failures were brushed off, and the people closest to Charlie either went quiet or contradicted each other. Joe Rogan didn't accuse anyone directly. He didn't need to. He simply did what he always does. He asked the obvious questions, and sometimes that's enough to expose a story that was never meant to be believed, because when confusion protects people, it's rarely accidental. And in this case, the more you look, the harder it becomes to believe anyone truly wanted the truth found.